In this video, we will solve problems involving ratios, proportions, rates, and unit conversions. Let's start with ratios. A ratio says how much of one thing there is compared to another thing. And ratios can be in two different forms. They can be comparing one part to another part, or you could compare part to whole. Let's start off with part to part. In this example, what is the ratio of apples to pears? Well, if I count the apples, there are 6 and there are 3 pears. We follow the order of the words when we write a ratio. So apples came first, so I'm going to start with 6, and then pears came second, so it's going to be 6 to 3. And we can write a ratio with the word 2. We can write it with a colon, or we can write it with a fraction where the first number is the numerator and the second number is the denominator. And we can also reduce ratios to simplest form. Both 6 and 3 can be divided by 3, so if I divide them both by 3, I can simplify this ratio and I get 2 to 1. And again, I could write it in any of those forms. But I do need to keep both numbers. Like, I can't just say 2 to 1 is 2. That doesn't work for a ratio because it has to be one number to another number. So you have to have those two numbers. In the next one, what is the ratio of pears to apples? This time pears came first and then apples, so we would have to switch around the order. It was 3 pears to 6 apples. And again, we could write that in any of those forms, and we can reduce it, and we would get 1 to 2. Now part to whole ratios. This time we're going to compare one type of fruit to the total number of pieces of fruit in the set. So the ratio of apples to total fruit, there are 6 apples and 9 pieces of fruit in all. So 6 to 9 would compare the part that's the apples to the whole, which is the total number of pieces of fruit. And again, all 3 forms are allowed, and we can reduce that. Again, both those numbers can be divided by 3, which would give me 2 to 3. Or we can write it like that. And what this means is for every 2 apples, there are 3 pieces of fruit in all. Or out of every 3 pieces of fruit, 2 are apples. So feel free to pause the video and try the last one on your own. Hopefully you had a chance to do that. The ratio of pears to total fruit, there are 3 pears for every 9 pieces of fruit. And all 3 forms. And reducing that by dividing both numbers by 3 gives us 1 to 3. A proportion is an equation with 2 equal ratios. So we can solve problems involving ratios using proportions. Let's look at this example. For every 7 rabbits in the neighborhood, there are 2 coyotes. If there are 35 rabbits, how many total rabbits and coyotes are there in the neighborhood? Now we have to be careful and think about whether we are given part-to-part ratios or part-to-whole ratios, and be careful about what we are looking for. In this example, we are given a part-to-part ratio. There are 7 rabbits for every 2 coyotes. So I'm going to start with that ratio. And I'm going to use a fraction form for this. And I'm going to set this equal to another proportion. But since I did a part-to-part ratio for my first one, I need a part-to-part ratio for my second one. And the other thing that's important about proportions is that our units agree. Since I put rabbits on the top, I'm going to need to keep rabbits on the top over here and coyotes on the bottom. So this follow-up question, if there are 35 rabbits, how many total rabbits and coyotes are in the neighborhood? I'm going to put the 35 rabbits right here. Now, the answer I'm going to get is not going to be the total number of rabbits and coyotes combined. I'm going to find the number of coyotes, and then I'll have to add those up to find the total. When we solve a proportion, you can put X in your missing spot. And a quick trick is to multiply the diagonal numbers and divide by the other number that's across from X, or diagonal from X. So I could do 2 times 35 equals 7X, which gives me 70 equals 7X. And if I divide both sides by 7, I get X is equal to 10. So that means if I have 35 rabbits, I would have 10 coyotes. And the total is what I'm being asked for, so I have to remember to go back to the question and answer what it's asking me. It's asking me for the whole. So I need to add up the 35 rabbits, the 10 coyotes, and we get 45 total rabbits and coyotes combined. Now let's talk about unit rates. A unit rate means a rate for one of something. We write this as a ratio with a denominator of 1. If you ran 70 yards in 10 seconds, how many yards did you run in 1 second? Well, if I divide 70 yards by 10 seconds, I get 7 yards in 1 second. So 7 yards per second. So we divided by the number of seconds to get the yards per second. A car drove 288 miles on 12 gallons of gas. How many miles per gallon does the car get? Just like in the example before, per is kind of a key word to divide. We divide by what comes after per. When it says per gallon, I'm going to divide by gallons. So I take my number of miles, 288, and I'm dividing that by 12 gallons. And that gives me 24 miles per gallon. And that means that the car can drive 25 miles on 1 gallon of gas. A 3-pack of sunglasses costs $21.99 on Amazon. How much does each pair of sunglasses cost? So we want the cost per pair, so we're going to divide by the number of pairs. We're going to take this $21.99 and divide it into 3 equal parts because we have 3 pairs. And that gives us $7.33 per pair. And now we're going to take a look at 2 more examples where we apply these concepts in word problems. Jaime is shopping for 2 brands of olive oil. Brand A offers a 2-liter bottle for $16.80, and brand B offers a 750 milliliter bottle for $6.75. Determine which brand has the better price per liter and by how much. So the fact that we need to find the price per liter is telling us that we need to find the unit rate for each brand. So let's start with brand A. Brand A offers a 2-liter bottle for $16.80. So when we find the unit rate, we want the price per liter. So per liter means we're going to divide by liters. So I take this money, $16.80, and I divide it into 2 equal parts, which gives me $8.40 per liter. Brand B is a little trickier because you might have noticed that the units were given in milliliters instead of liters. So I can't find the price per liter unless I convert that to liters. Now, milli, whenever we see millimeter, milliliter, that stands for 1,000. There are 1,000 milliliters in a liter. So to convert 750 milliliters to liters, we are going to divide it by 1,000, which gives us 0.75 liters. And now I'm going to do the same thing I did for brand A. I'm going to take my price, $6.75, and divide by the number of liters, 0.75 liters, to get the price per liter. And we get $9 per liter. And now we can see, since we have the price per liter for each brand, that brand A is less expensive and therefore the better deal, the better price. And to figure out by how much we would subtract. So if I subtract $9 minus $8.40, we get 60 cents is the difference. So brand A has the better price by 60 cents per liter.
Do you teach juniors or seniors or whatever?
Here's one last example. A bookstore ordered 40 hardcover books that cost $15 each. The bookstore can sell each book for $22. After selling 30 books, the bookstore returned the unsold books, but they paid a $2 charge for each returned book. Calculate the bookstore's profit. When we're asked to find profit, we will take the income, which is the money that someone takes in from their sales, minus their expenses, which is the money they spend to buy their supplies, and that will equal their profit. So in this problem, their expenses, well, they ordered 40 hardcover books that cost $15 each. So that's the money they spent right up front. $40 times $15 each gives us $600. So that's how much they initially spent. The income, or the money they took in, well, they sold each book for $22, and they sold 30 books initially. So 30 books times $22 each gives us $660. That's the money they took in, their income. But then the bookstore returned the unsold books, but they paid a $2 charge for each returned book. So if they bought the books for $15 each, but then they returned them paying a $2 charge per book, they're only getting $13 back per book. So that's going to be additional income because they're going to get that money back, but only $13 for each returned book. And since they initially bought 40 and only sold 30, subtracting those, we get 10 books that they didn't sell. So there were 10 unsold books, and they get $13 back for each of those unsold books. So that'll be $130 back. So the income is going to be $660 plus $130. The expenses was $600, so we're going to subtract that $600, and that will give us a difference of $190, and that will be the profit, the money they have left over after we subtract their expenses.
Wow, I wonder in like high school.
Mm-hmm.